Good evening, all you creatures of the night, and thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of the podcast that we all host together, the one that conjures up your nightmares. It records. I'm one of your hosts, joined as always with the lovely Lindsay and Pete. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks, man.
I keep doing
It's
it.
good to be here.
I'm just in your home right now, having some tea and crumpets.
Yep.
You know the usual.
I keep introducing you guys like your guests to the show. And thanks for being here, but not the case.
The
We're
show
all
was even
hosts.
your idea.
No, but I've sort of commandeered that in my intro, but it's not meant to be like that. We're all the hosts. But this week, everybody, we watched the 2014 horror film Starry Eyes, directed by Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmer.
Welcome to Big Taters. My name is Sarah. Can I start you guys off with an order of our freedom tots?
We got all these people, all our friends. They're just sitting around, trying to figure out what to do, trying to figure out how to make something.
I thought you were avoiding me.
Why would you think that? Because I stole your role.
What's going on with you lately?
I work so hard. Every week it's a new class, a new audition. Hopefully you'll see something in me. I know I'd be great for this.
We'll be in touch.
Hello, Sarah. We'd like to see you again. And Sarah, this will be different.
Sarah, relax yourself.
Sarah, if you can't fully let yourself go, how can you ever transform into something?
I'm dying!
No. You're being reborn.
Your face would be on the poster on a wall in a lobby of a movie theater. A theater with a marquee.
Kill your old life, Sarah. Bury it in the earth. And join us in the skies.
That's me. I'm your girl. I will do whatever it takes for this role.
Yeah, I was wondering how to say those names, because you know me, I can't pronounce anything.
Well, I hope I sounded confident in those names because I am not.
I believed you.
All right. I think it's
Yeah,
Kolsch.
I wouldn't have been none the wiser.
Okay. I've had a coffee Kolsch beer recently, spelled the same way as the director.
Whoa.
So that's what I'm going with. That's what the bartender told me before he
With
grabbed
the
me by the
two
scruff of
dot-
my neck and kicked me out.
With the two dots above the O.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt Kevin Kolsch
Right
still
on.
directed it and made this beer for me. But
Hey, you never know.
So, we watched Starry Eyes this week, everybody. And in case you're not familiar with the movie, I guess I'll give you a quick little synopsis of it. It takes place in L.A. Following Sarah. She is an aspiring actress, and she wants more than anything to get her big break. And she lives with a few of her friends in a little apartment, and what she realizes is she might have to sacrifice everything to get what she wants, but she might not be aware of what all that entails. I'll leave it at that as we get into the movie, but that is Starry Eyes.
This was Lindsay's pick.
Yeah.
It was.
And if I may ask, how did you come across Starry Eyes?
Well, you see, I felt kind of lost, like, on where to go from. We left off with Dead Alive, and then I was like, okay, it's my turn again. I just was, like, doing a lot of, like, Googling, like, what are, some more, like, and I wanted something more recent, too, because I feel like I'm always, like, I tend to go back, like, old movies and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know anything that's coming out that's like kind of newer. So I kept seeing this one pop up in like all these like top 10 like best horror film like compilations or whatever. So I was like, so I read about it and I was like, okay, that sounds pretty interesting. So I was just like, and that's what we're watching. So yeah, and then it helped that it was on Netflix too. So I mean, it made it easy for everyone to access. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And it was a pleasant surprise for me because, I mean, I do like trying to catch up with more recent ones because I fall behind so quickly. But I won't say if I defend or destroy, but I mean, it had a lot of good reviews, I feel like, and critical reception, this movie.
Yeah.
I would say, though, that the downside of that movie, without me saying anything, is the picture that comes from Netflix when you hover over it. How it's like a close-up of her face, and then it's like the pentagram over her eyes.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's just not a good cover photo.
No, I agree with that. That was kind of my impression when I first saw it. I wasn't really allured by it, which is ironic because their poster art, which if you get a chance to check that out, won like the best horror poster art. I forget at what award ceremony I can find it, but their own team designed very well cover art for this film, but Netflix chose a different option.
Should have stuck.
The funny thing is, I didn't even watch this on Netflix. I watched it on my phone because, like, my roommate, like, logged out of Netflix or whatever, and so I was just like, well, shit. So I found it online. So I don't even know what y'all are talking about.
I would say this movie went by pretty fast because even though it's 98 minutes, I was just like, when it ended, I was like, oh, it's over?
Yeah.
Yeah, it went really quick.
I think as we follow this girl's kind of journey, her downward spiral, it's done in a pretty good pace, I think. I didn't ever feel bored. I didn't like get up and like go up to another room like I usually do. Like I was very, engaged, I would say.
I'd say so too. And what helped for me, at least, I think, is the score of the movie was very, I feel like, I got like a fairy tale-esque vibe, almost like Suspiria, where it was mysterious. So, like, even though there might not have been like crazy action happening on the scene, the score they played with it, it could have been like a mundane scene. I feel like her going to an audition or something, but that music was playing, so I thought something was around the corner almost. Or like I need to keep paying attention because something's happening that's off here.
See, that made me think of something completely different. I thought of two different movies. I thought of like a really disturbing version of La La Land.
Oh, okay, yeah. I can see that.
Or Mulholland Drive. Where it's kind of similar, where she's an actress. I believe it's Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
And it's like very like weird acting in the movie. It's like really like forced. I don't know. It's like
very stylistic.
It's really purposeful in what David Lynch does. And then like when you get to the audition, it's like fucking really intense. And so I kind of got like the feel of like both those kind of situations.
Yeah, that's a good point. And you mentioned that's one of the things I heard about the movie people were saying is it reminds them of something that maybe David Lynch or David Cronenberg would come up together. This movie, so and Mulholland Drive is David Lynch. Yeah,
I could definitely see Cronenberg because there's a lot of body horror in this movie. If we haven't mentioned yet, there's a lot of bodily harm. It's pretty gross.
Yeah,
and surprising.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I feel like that picks up in I guess like Act 3 of the film. Like there's some stuff that's unsettling. I didn't feel like maybe like halfway through the film, but then it gets like intense. I felt like it like really ramped up. That third act, extremely gory.
I wish It's a movie that wanted me to have more. Like, I don't know what, like, more it needed, but I think maybe it was, like, maybe she didn't have enough interactions with her friends. I don't know, it kind of seemed like she was, like, by herself for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, what I wrote down in my notes is that her friends are, like, fucking assholes.
Mm-hmm.
They're, like, terrible. Except for, like,
well, that's
two
the thing.
people. Like, her roommate who, like, kind of cares about her.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, that guy who has, like, a crush on her.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, they're really two people that, like, kind of care about her well-being, where everyone else is, like, really selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like that's part of what made her such an easy target, so to speak, is she had such, like, little support, you know? And,
Mm-hmm.
But even then, I would say, like, I wish, even though it was, like, awkward exchanges that she had with her so-called friends, I wish I had more of that, because it almost seems like, not that there's no stakes, I don't know, it's just, like, there's not enough interactions or something. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's kind of similar to where my complaint about I Know What You Did Last Summer, where, like, the killer is only at one specific person each time.
Yeah.
You remember when we said, like, the movie wrote itself that way on purpose, but, like, I wished it had more of, like, a group setting.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, like,
okay,
that's kind of like what I'm saying with this one. And, like, have her... So she pretty much becomes, like... She's, like, the protagonist-antagonist kind of situation.
Yeah, like an anti-hero?
Yeah.
Well, not even really a hero, but yeah.
Yeah. And I wish there was, like, more of that with her friends, but that's all I have to say, because I don't know how else to explain it.
Okay, sure. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I get that. I get what you're saying. I felt that too, where... Yeah, I don't know how to describe it, but there definitely was, like, a connection there, but I didn't feel we had enough. I mean, it was too quick when they were together to really grasp on anything. Yeah, and I think what adds to that is like this movie is shrouded in, like, some sort of in like a mystery, especially, like, with her production company she's with and the way they filmed that. It was very disorienting. I felt like I'm sure it's meant to be, but that kind of adds to the complexity of, like, you wanted more, at least in these scenarios, but you didn't get it with the friends.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which what did you guys think of that sort of filming editing style when she goes into the audition the second time, and what we see is, like, a lot of flashing lights? It's supposed to be a camera where she's derobing, but, like, it's, like, really quick flashes and, like, really different weird faces, and you see, like, a person in a mask. How do you guys feel about that? Just thoughts.
I was like, what's happening?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was intense.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish with that, which was just, like, utterly terrifying. And, you know, kind of is the starting point to her, you know, just, like, completely, like, I don't know, like, that's, you know, her ambition is kind of, like, her Achilles heel. I mean, it completely is. So, you know, she wants this so badly, and it's, you know, we've got so many of these stereotypical elements with the casting couch, and then we've got, you know, this antagonistic, you know, like, rival actress, and so when you get to that, well, you see more of that later on after this scene, but, like, this scene in particular, I was just like, I have no words, like, it was that's all I have to say.
And as you were saying, like, that's, like, the start of, like, her, I don't know, her transition, I guess. She wants to be the star. It's her first audition, and she starts to slowly change, I'll say for now, for lack of spoilers. What do you think was happening in the film in that time frame? Because, like, for us, it's, like, that disorienting flashing lights, but clearly something happens. And I guess we could give the spoiler. We see these people have pentagrams, so you might have, like, some sort of satanic ideas, but what do you think occurred that started her transformation? Hypnotism was one idea that I thought of, but...
Well, I was kind of thinking of, like, Rosemary's Baby. where I know we haven't done that movie, but it was like where they hypnotizes Mia Farrow's character, and they like basically impregnate her with like the devil's child. And I thought it was like something like that.
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe too. Especially, what really I thought it was going to be is after that, there's this scene where she's in a tub, and you see something like move on her stomach.
Yeah.
Where I thought like, okay, she's impregnated with something, maybe like the devil or the offspring, but then it just turns out to be she pukes up some maggots. Is what ensues from there.
Well, see, there was a note I wrote down early in the movie to where I thought, so she's a very skinny woman, and she's like pinching herself in the mirror in the very beginning when she's about to go to work. That's basically Hooters. And I was like, that's weird. And I was like, she's like really worried about her weight for some reason. And then I didn't quite hear what he said because I put on subtitles later on during the movie because there were some parts I couldn't hear. And then she kept going to take phone calls, but I didn't pick up on like what the manager was complaining about. He's like, where does she hide that thing? And I was like, wait, is she pregnant? Because she's so fucking skinny. And so for like the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was like, wait, is she fucking pregnant right now? Like, she is super thin.
Yeah.
And then like it almost came into play later with our previous conversation. And I was like, oh wait, maybe I was on to something. Yeah. And I was like, oh no, I'm not.
Unfortunately, no.
That's not it at all.
This is my exact note. She thinks she's pregnant, parentheses, Sarah, so I didn't get confused later on, and then I drew an arrow, and I was like, oh, hiding the phone is what he was referring to.
Yeah.
Do you want me to read, my notes are a very early movie, and I just kind of stopped. Do you want me to read them all out loud?
I'd love to hear your notes, Pete. Yeah.
Please do.
So I wrote right away, theater snobs, a life I'm way too familiar with. Girl who touches hair too much and eats celery, ? There's one of her friends in the beginning where she kind of like, they're talking about her audition. One of her friends like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize you auditioned, didn't mean to steal the role from you. And there are other friends like touching her hair and like eating celery, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what is this what's happening right now?
Yeah. At a party, right?
I didn't know this
it was at a party.
It was like a rager, or it was supposed to be.
Who eats celery at a party?
She's just crunching down on some celery. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. I just thought that was really weird.
Fine.
And then there's the pregnant note that I already read. And then that jumped to awkward audition, yeesh. JK, ? And I wrote dash the dream sequence. Because she was like really really good at remembering her lines. And I was like, oh man, I had to pause it for like a second. I was like, oh, this is rough. And I went back to it.
Yeah. That was kind of painful.
It was, yeah.
Then you find out she's dreaming.
And
so
then
like, it's
the next line was the actual audition. It was like, bow tie guy doing audition is a bit much. Whether from Dartmouth or some shit.
I thought the same thing.
True.
Yeah. I was like,
he took himself away too soon.
I was like, this guy is too much.
I had like a good comparison for him. He's like age audition. Like, I don't know, like his voice is so fucking weird. And I had like a great I compared him to another character, and I can't remember who that was. Oh. So I referred to him as Dartmouth. Whatever the name of the college is.
Dartmouth, yeah.
Dartmouth.
Spelled Dartmouth.
The rest of my notes, which is not much longer. And then my next line is, Dartmouth has a face you want to punch.
True.
He just kept talking like that, and I was like, can you stop?
Yeah. I was annoyed for her from him. Ugh.
If you want to die, you just gotta be reborn again. And I was like, stop talking.
Just, why are you still talking? And that's where you stopped taking
That's
notes.
where I stopped taking notes. I watched this movie in 2 parts. I watched the first 30 minutes one day. And then I watched it like really late, and then I was like getting tired, so I turned it off. And then I watched the rest of it the next day, which is today. That's today I was recording. And I just...
And here we are.
I wish I watched like an hour of it today.
Yeah.
Okay, right on.
Which went by very quickly because, like I said earlier, I was like, oh, that's the ending?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you guys,
Yeah, it's like that.
without giving spoilers, we can give some, how did you guys feel about the ending?
I thought her transformation reminded me of Splice. I never seen the movie, but I remember like that being advertised with Adrian Brody, and I thought they looked very similar.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think it succeeded in being extremely like gory and creepy and like disgusting.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I kind of just, I don't know, I had some chills at the end when she's like looking at herself in the mirror, and I'm like, well,
I believe this is the goriest movie you've ever picked for the podcast.
yeah, it's so uncharacteristic, you know. But what about you, Matt?
I did like, well, I guess we said the opening scene, she's like looking in the mirror, and the end scene is like almost the same shot.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just curious, I mean, your feelings, because she kind of got what she wanted. Like, and she's our protagonist, so are we meant to think that, like, are we supposed to be on her side, or because we know what she did, are we supposed to be like, this is I don't know, like, we're not supposed to be happy with this ending, the way it ended, but really, it's our protagonist we followed till she got her dream. She was born again.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're not supposed, like, I would say we're not supposed to be happy with the ending. I think it's intended because they just change, like, she is so desperate to change for success.
At any cost.
And she kills people. She kills her friends. Very brutally, in fact. With a knife, a dumbbell, not a dumbbell, like a little weight.
Yeah, it's a dumbbell. You're right.
Is it a dumbbell? Okay. I don't exercise, so I don't know. All I remember that it was blue, but she like smashed her friend's face, who I thought was her roommate at first.
I did too, actually. I thought that was her roommate.
Oh, the first one?
Who's
They're like two of her blonde friends, like kind of looked similar.
Okay.
And we didn't get a whole lot of the one who got her face smacked in with the dumbbell. We didn't get a whole lot of her, so I just assumed it was her roommate because we haven't seen her in a while.
I forgot about her.
Yeah.
I want to say she's Celery Girl.
It is Celery Girl. The girl.
That's one.
I totally forgot about her.
Yeah, because I think that's her only other scene.
The celery
it's like,
part.
There's
she breaks her nose.
That's right. She breaks her nose, and she they make kind of fun of her about the audition. They're like,
oh, okay.
Oh, for Silver Screen, I hope that's a working title.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, bitch, like, be a little more supportive of your friend.
Yeah, for real. I got a call back to a major motion picture. Don't blast the title, you jerk.
Yeah.
No, but I agree. I was just wondering your guys' opinions on that. I got a Macbeth vibe. Got any big Macbeth heads out there? Woot woot.
It's really funny that you mentioned that because me and Lindsay were just talking about Macbeth before you came online.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Wait, just for fun or
just
because of this
fun.
movie? Oh, okay.
Pete was in a play in high school, or he had to act it out in
I did
class,
have to act
and it was Macbeth.
Because Lindsay talked about the head sheet of light, where I said Sic Semper Tyrannis. Quoting Seinfeld, even though it's quoting a lot of people. And then Lindsay said she had to look it up, and I was like, oh, I had to look up the spelling. And then she said that, like, oh, we had to do the play. And I was like, oh, shit, I forgot that I was a play. And then I proceeded to talk about, like, we did Macbeth in high school, and I had to get up in front of the whole class and read for, not for Macbeth the character, but I did for the play. Can't remember who the hell I was playing. And then
But you died.
I died. And my teacher had told me to have more emotion. And I remember, you remember those big books that you would have in high school that you would read the plays from that were for free?
Mm-hmm.
I was reading that, like, I had to hold that in front of everyone and read my lines.
Mm-hmm.
And then my teacher told me to have more emotion, and then as I was supposed to fight for my life because I was dying, so I swung my book.
Oh boy!
At the end, I didn't hit him. I purposely didn't hit him, but I was just trying to be funny, I guess. I don't know. I was like 17. wanted people to like me.
Yeah, want people to laugh with me. Yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's neat. So you're a big fan of Macbeth. Good. So you know where I'm going with this.
You got a Macbeth vibe from it.
Yeah, I just got the vibe because, like, one of the major ideas of Macbeth, I think, is like unchecked ambition, and what that can do. It leads to, like, corruption and eventually his tragedy. Like, he dies because...
Okay.
And I get that with her. Not the same end, but still not a good end. But yeah, sort of that unchecked ambition.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a good
sure.
comparison.
That is her fatal flaw.
Yeah.
What would you say, before we say, I guess, Defend or Destroy, or even trivia, because we kind of talked a lot of points around the movie, what would be your constructive criticism of this movie?
Oh, okay.
Because I believe I already said mine.
Well,
yeah, you did.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know exactly what it is that I think it needs, but it does need something more, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good that it wanting more, because it shows that it was, like, a capable movie.
Yeah.
And I saw that the director's, like, it was a Kickstarter. Like, that's how it got started.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was pretty cool that, this is, it had, like, great quality for, like, not to say that Kickstarter movies won't have good quality, but I was, like, surprised that, like, I think it was, like, shot well, and, like, it was really intense, and I thought, like, whatever effects they did, it seemed, like, mostly practical to me.
I thought so too, yeah.
Were well done. Like, they were very, like, small doses, but when they were, there was, like, a lot going on, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just, like, certain scenes that were just, like, explosive.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't happen, like, the whole time, like Dead Alive.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, for, like, constructive criticism, I did enjoy it. I won't say if I defend or destroy it quite yet. But it did I thought the score worked well, because it kind of kept you thinking around the corner the whole time. And I liked the blurring of, like, the idea of, like, this might be, like, some weird cult, but also he was just saying things that were about ambition and, like, getting what you want. Mm-hmm. And so it could have just been, like, if this satanic cult wasn't there, it could have just been, like, a positive movie about, like, achieving your goals, if you didn't have the horror and stuff in it. So I thought that was well. I agree with your point on the friendship. If anything, like, the first act, like, before she starts to become evil, maybe, like, it could have been tightened a little bit. I think there were some scenes that were just superfluous, like, that led up to her meeting the producer, that kind of just maybe threw off the pace for me a bit until we got to that third act. Maybe that was the only thing. Mm-hmm. Besides your point, yeah. It kind of, because she went to the producer, she left, she went back. I don't know, just, it dragged a little bit in the middle. But
yeah,
nothing really. I mean, it's a tight movie. It's an hour and a half, so that's a minor critique.
Did anyone else get kind of flashback to House of the Devil with this one, with like the cult kind of being revealed at the end.
Yeah. Yes, I did very
So
much.
that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Not to give too much away, but I also got like kind of some Black Swan like in there too.
If I may, I did too with like the fingernails. When she was looking in the mirror, I definitely got Black Swan.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't seen Black Swan since I saw it in theaters when it came out, so I definitely didn't get those vibes because I barely remember the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually did not think of House of the Devil at all, but I can totally see why you did. I just thought of Rosemary's Baby the whole time.
Yeah, there's a lot of similar elements in this movie, I think, that we've seen definitely before.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like it draws on a lot of elements, but it never made me feel like it was taken from another movie. I guess it never made it was totally its own.
It did that very well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Did that old guy, the old creepy producer, remind you of anyone? Like, I don't know. Like he was just so weird with his acting. I guess everyone in the movie, and what the picture, whatever it's called, not artisan. What was it?
It's like Osiris.
It starts with art. I can't remember. It's not Osiris, but it starts with an A.
Osiris. Yeah, it's something like that. But that's the production company.
Yeah, whatever the production company's called. Like, they all are super strange. I mean, obviously because they're part of the cult.
Yeah.
But they just like have weird speech patterns, and are possibly obsessed with sex. And like the old guy was like so positive, but like I don't know, it kind of reminded me of the old couple in Rosemary's Baby, even though they were like it was just like amplified because this is 2014 movie compared to a 60s movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they made like he was like ordinary, like on the outside, but like he had a lot of inner demons.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like
literal and
and trying to seduce the fucking main character
and succeeding
for a role.
Yeah.
Or expect a sexual favor, I guess.
Yeah, that was a very weird scene for me, at least. Watching that one.
Yeah, I was like, wait,
and then,
how is this going?
What's happening?
Yeah, like, is this okay? This is where I think it's going. All right, and then those two people with the mask on walk out behind the curtain.
Yeah,
and I was like, who the fuck are these people? We've never seen these people before.
Yeah, that was intense.
So that was disturbing.
I think this movie could actually benefit from a sequel.
Where would you take that?
Yeah.
That's always the hard part. It's like, where would you take it? I mean, they don't have to explain the cult or anything. Just find another story to tell through it, but you don't have to explain like their origins or whatever. I don't know. I feel like it could benefit with. You don't even have to continue with the main character if you don't want to. If you don't want to limit yourself, I think they could do a lot with this movie.
I could see that working.
Yeah.
With a new character and a new story.
I could see it has potential for a sequel, but what was I gonna say? I think you run into it having the same effect if it's like not with her and like you don't want to do a backstory on like the cult, because then I feel like the audience will know kind of what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, because they kind of already, if it's like Starry Eyes 2, they already kind of know like what the first one was, so they'll have a frame of reference, I guess. But you know, we can workshop these ideas and write the screenplay and send it over to Osiris and see what they say.
And then you'd be like, Yeah, we'll be in touch.
Yeah. You know
Just
what
like
you have to
Dartmouth.
do.
And then you never see him
Then
again.
you never see him again.
Oh, you see him again.
You hear him.
Oh, he's at...
You hear him again. I don't remember seeing him.
Oh, I remember
Oh.
vividly seeing him. When it's after the... spoilers. We haven't spoiled it up. She's like being reborn.
Yeah.
And they're putting those things down. He's there.
Okay.
In the same outfit.
Well, at least he
From the
doesn't
beginning.
disappoint.
I don't know if they're...
So this film won... Oh, go
I was going
ahead.
to say, I was like, is anyone in that movie redeemable?
I was gonna say her until...
I mean...
Well, you know.
Yeah. Until she becomes totally unredeemable. Yeah, I think that's the weird part about this movie, too, is that you kind of have no one to root for.
Yeah, you're... Mhm.
Because all her basically all her friends are just, like, really selfish, like, aspiring actors or directors or whatever. And you got that weird dude who we didn't even talk about, who's, like, Danny's roommate. Danny's the guy who lives in the van, who kind of likes Sarah, but, like, had a thing with another girl.
Sarah's rival.
His roommate, who's, like, yeah, who was taking pictures of Sarah as she was, like, kind of, like, in a weird state, and, like, she was, like, almost flashing him, and then, like, he's just like, yeah, I gotta take these pictures, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, who is this guy?
Yeah. Yeah, and he was supposed to be with, like, the celery stick girl, too, who was there, and it's like, what are you doing, guy? Yeah, but...
Yeah, well...
He was taking pictures earlier of the girls in the bikinis, but, like, there was...
That's right.
Sorry,
I got excited.
But that seemed, at least, like, for a purpose, they were like, oh, this is something we intended because it's for the movie? I don't know.
I guess.
It seemed like a totally different situation where it was like, okay. But now it just kind of seems like this guy's just a fucking pervert or something.
Yeah. No, I think he's not redeemable, I don't think. But I think maybe the roommate who
I think
meets
she
her fate in the
is,
end, but maybe...
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she did too. I mean, she wasn't perfect, but I don't...
I guess
Just
she's
getting-
the
yeah.
one who comes closest, and that's not really saying much.
She gets taken. She gets taken down by her
Yeah.
terrible friends because, as Sarah says, they're your friends that are draining the life from me.
And just by association. And she's also the one that told them, like, kind of what Sarah was going through with her audition and everything. So she was, like, really pissed about that toward the roommate.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
right.
real
Yeah,
shitty.
I mean, that
move.
was, you know, you tell your, like, friends something in confidence, and then, you know, like, for them to go around and do that, like, yeah, like, I can understand.
Like, if you're gonna tell someone, make sure that they don't fucking openly tell her, you know? Keep a fucking secret. I love the gossip as much as anyone else, but, you know, you gotta sometimes keep that shit in your pocket.
True.
Yeah. And then, I guess I wouldn't say this person's redeemable, but were we not supposed to like the director guy who lived in the van?
I didn't
I
like
was
him.
neutral on him.
Thought he was...
Okay.
I was neutral on him. I barely
What was that,
noticed
Lindsay?
him.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like we were supposed to get a vibe. I don't know. Like, he asked her to be in his movie, but I don't know if he was supposed to be, like, like the same as what the producer was doing. Like, being, like, weird about it. So I didn't know.
Well, because, like...
But... I feel like we were supposed to have some connection at that last scene where he meets his demise. Like, she had a whole encounter, like, monologue with him.
Yeah.
Dialogue.
Well, it's kind of like Sarah put it, that she either said to Danny or the girl that he's sleeping with, but, like, that they're hooking up, and she's like, oh, did you do it for this role that's beneath me? And then she's like, oh, we hooked up before, doesn't it? We could just like each other. And it just made me think, I was like, well, is he just, like, using, like, his movie as a way to, like, be with Sarah? And since Sarah won't be with him, he just took a girl who would be with him.
Huh, I didn't think of that.
Maybe.
Huh.
I didn't either.
That's very possible concerning Sarah.
Maybe.
So, no redeemable characters.
Yeah, essentially no redeemable characters. Maybe the one homeless guy who Sarah beats up outside of the production, that guy was redeemable. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just trying to help her out.
Seems like he was going to do some wrong. He's like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah, he was playing the role of concerned guy.
That's it.
Not if she repay him.
Yeah. Yeah, she says, don't you touch me! And screams at him. So, one thing, if we can do a little bit of trivia before we do Defend or Destroy, we talked about the Kickstarter, but one thing I found interesting was that's how it began. They wanted to kickstart the movie, but that campaign attracted Pat Healy to the film, and then they met their goal. He finished the rest of the campaign funding. Did you guys,
wow,
you guys know that?
I didn't.
I did not know that.
Okay, do you know who that is? Pat Healy?
I thought that was a character in There's Something About Mary.
Oh, maybe.
It's Matt Dillon's character, you guys.
Well, this Pat Healy is the manager of the Tater Tots place in the movie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the actor, but apparently, which I didn't know, I did some research. He was in what was it? The Innkeepers.
Okay.
You know that? Yeah. Cheap Thrills, Great World of Sound, Captain America: Winter Soldier. So he's an actor / writer. So he has some clout on stuff that I didn't know he was a part of. Magnolia. So yeah,
he's got some things under his belt.
Yeah, and I didn't even recognize. I mean, yeah, he's the manager of the. Is okay? We'll get back to redeemable. Thanks, Pat Healy, for funding this movie. But is he a redeemable character, the manager at the Tater Tots?
Not really. He's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Like, he's trying to be like a manager that cares, but like ultimately, I don't know. He doesn't really seem like that. Like, I feel like he's trying to be that role, but doesn't succeed.
Yeah, I think what does it, he's definitely supposed to be the mentor, like, in the archetypes, like, because he breaks down from that manager role and is like, hey, you know, it's cool to do this stuff, but you've got to be practical. Like, don't just go after these things for whatever cost, you know. Sometimes you have to do what pays the bills, yada, yada, yada. So he's supposed to be that, but I think what doesn't redeem him for me is, like, yeah, he says some jerk things, but he also is the manager of, like, a Hooters store.
I think that's what it is.
It's his establishment where you're like, well, you kind of run this place that's, I don't know, I wouldn't really venture into it on my own. I don't know. Not a fan of that establishment. So I think that's what doesn't make him redeemable. But he tried to help. Was it called Tater Tots?
I know they say Tater Gator when they say
later Tater Gator.
I laughed at that.
Something like that.
Yeah, later Tater Gator. I would love if somebody said that to me.
Hold up.
Later Tater Gator.
I say that
See
all
you
the
later.
What's this place called? We need to know.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Tater
Hey guys, that production company was called Astraeus Pictures, in case you were wondering.
Astraeus, okay. We got
So, any aspiring actors out there, avoid them at all costs.
Okay, the place is called Hot Taters.
It is a front.
Sorry. I just got a little Hot Taters.
Hot. Oh, of course, Hot Taters.
Yeah, see, the name makes it even worse.
So,
Yeah, Hot Taters.
and to answer your question, not a redeemable character.
Or the cook guy who works at Hot Taters, who Pat Healy refers to, where it's like, where's she hiding that thing? And he just goes, oh.
He was my favorite character.
He's just a cook. He's just doing his job.
I'm just cooking these taters.
And then he gets yelled at for not defrosting chicken strips.
Okay, yeah, that guy was my favorite. That's Rico. Rico is just staring at him like a weirdo. As he's talking to him, not responding. And then, go defrost those chicken strips. All right.
Yeah,
Rico's
cool.
redeemable.
He's a good guy.
All right, then we've talked about Starry Eyes. Will you guys, if you don't have any more trivia facts, defend or destroy this movie,
I'll
Starry
go
Eyes?
first. I didn't particularly care for this. I think it's good in a lot of respects, like being really like gory and creepy, especially coming into the third act. But I mostly felt just like real sad and like just sad by a lot of it. I didn't enjoy it, and however, that being said, I do have to give a shout out to the lead actress. I think she did a fantastic job with her portrayal of this, like, struggling actress. We've all seen that kind of character before, but she really just, like, completely captures, who this person is and, her struggle on the way down. And, like I said, her ambition is that fatal flaw of hers, and I think she did a really good job with that and showing that through this girl's transformation. But yeah, I think it's a good movie, but for me personally, I'm not that into it.
Okay. Would you give it a destroy
I'm gonna
then?
Destroy it.
Would you destroy? Okay, all right. One destroy. Are we gonna have a unanimous destroy this week, or are we gonna have some tension? Pete, you want to rock paper scissors the next one?
I think you should go.
No, okay, sure. I mentioned I like the score. I thought it really added to the atmosphere of the film, and like I love the opening credits. I love the text they used, the font and everything. It really created a good atmosphere. I didn't love the film. It wasn't like a 5-star Glenn review, but I thought, as Lindsay said, the lead actress was really good. Even the moments where she kind of goes straight evil, I still kind of felt for her a little bit. But on the whole, I'm gonna defend it, even though it wasn't my favorite. I think just like even the background of the production from the Kickstarter to what the movie was. If it was longer, it might have kind of dribbled out, but I think they kept it pretty tight. And yeah, I defend Starry Eyes.
Interesting. I did not think you were going to go down that route.
I deliberated on that a long time.
Yeah. You fooled me on where you said, is this going to be a unanimous destroy this week?
Oh, I guess so, yeah. I led you astray.
Just a little bit.
Not purposely. Yeah.
This is a tough one for me too. I kind of like agree with both of you, which is weird. I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't think it's a great movie either, and I think there's a lot of great qualities about it, and I kind of said where it lacks, like, it needed, like, more interactions with the friends to kind of make it, like, a better movie to kind of... I mean, it was, like, a movie about eternal struggle. Wow, that's not a word. Eternal struggle. Which it did a very good job with, because her like decomposing as a human being was like, she really looked like a drug addict,
Yeah.
and it was fucking really intense. And she did a great job. We didn't even talk about the hair pulling at all, but that's when I knew she was like, oh, this girl's a little off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna have to defend it, because I don't think it's like, I think it's better than the Belko experiment, which I believe we all destroyed.
True.
I believe so, yeah.
But it's weird because I think I like enjoyed that movie more as a fun, like, I thought it was like more fun, but I also like, I don't know. It's a weird conflict here of interest, because this is like the better movie, but I didn't have as much fun with it.
Sure.
Probably because you really couldn't, because it was just like a movie about someone spiral into darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, into their own psyche, almost going insane.
Yeah, so I'm gonna just defend it, because it's not bad enough to deserve a destroy.
So there you have it. You have our votes on Starry Eyes. I didn't say Starry Nights throughout the podcast, so I'm really happy about that. Several times I had to slow down and say Starry Eyes. But I'm happy about it. But if you want to check out Starry Eyes, you just go to Netflix. It's on there right now at the time of this podcast, and check it out. And also let us know what you think of it. Let us know what you thought of our thoughts of the film. We have a Twitter. We've made it there. We've made it to Facebook. We got one of those now, and we have a website. We have a website where you can find us, and all that information's on our Facebook. So let us know what you're thinking. Maybe a new movie you'd like us to see, or just a topic in the horror genre, because we'd love to hear from you, our loyal listeners. And that's what I have this week for the podcast Hit Records. I'm Matt Johnson, and I remain in the shadows.
Matt, I have a question. This is Peter, by the way. For those
hey
who don't
Pete, how you doing?
Does that website have 3 W's in front of it, or is it?
I'm glad you asked. I just sprung for the extra W this week. We have enough in our budget that we were just WW for a while, but now we have the 3 WWWs. It records.
That's good.
Podcasts.
That's all my questions.
Thanks for bringing that up. I meant to mention that.
Cool. I guess we're done. Bye.